Hello, 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 Christmas Flixers. Welcome back to Season 5 of Chicks on Christmas Flicks, where we can never have too many Christmas movies. We can only have enough Christmas movies. I'm KL Brady, and I'm so excited today. I'm so excited to be back on the show. Got the show rolling, gonna keep the show rolling. Oh, a lot has happened. So much has happened. I have so much to talk to you guys about today. So first, let me say, this is gonna be like the first of maybe 2 or 3 back-to-back episodes. I finally got the time to put all the shows together, but then guess what? So, I moved my studio in my bedroom, and my neighbors all of a sudden decided to have like the loudest party ever. And so the music was so loud that I thought the listeners will be able to hear that if I try to record the show. So I had to pause and record the show this morning, which is like 6 o'clock in the morning when everybody should be asleep and we shouldn't be hearing any loud music. So anyway, back-to-back shows. The first show is going to be the wrap-up from last season that I never got to do. I know it is almost June, and then we get to Christmas in July, which I'm really excited about. But so I'm going to do the season 5 wrap-up show, and then we're going to kick off season 6. And boy, have I got a lot of news to talk to you guys about in terms of the movies coming out in season 6 next year. It's so good. Everything, the lists of things that I'm seeing, the actors and actresses participating, it's just so much fun. So today gonna be a wrap-up show, and then tomorrow I should have the first of season 6, and then maybe this coming weekend I'll have the second episode of season 6 posted. Okay, so you're gonna get a lot of good stuff this week. So please tune in. So if you want to know, why I have been on hiatus for so long, I think I last posted in January. And so I guess the best way to do this, I'm going to have a little testimony time. Okay? Because the story is good. I have to share it. I have to share the good news of this story. And also, if anybody wants to skip on to the next part of the show, skip, please. That's why I put chapter markers in the show. If you don't want to listen to my testimony, you can skip it and move on to the next thing of the show. But I really did want to explain and kind of share what's been going on and why it has taken me so long to get back to recording. And as I've said, and as I will always say, like, I will never quit this show. It will never just disappear. I will never just never stop recording the show within a year. Like, never. There's never going to be a time, unless the sweet Lord takes me home, that I quit. I'm not going to quit. I don't quit anything. And I'm not going to quit on the show. But there's sometimes life happens, and when life happens, and I'm trying to keep up with life, and I'm trying to keep up with all the things going on in this house, with my job, all this kind of stuff, there are times that I will prioritize my mental sanity and peace over jumping on the podcast and forcing out a show where I'm not feeling my best and not communicating my best to you guys, and not communicating my excitement over these Christmas movies that I love so much. I could have done the show before, but I would have sounded pathetic, to say the least. And I didn't want to give you pathetic on this show when you take out your time to listen to me. So I wanted to be at my best, and I feel like I'm at my best today. I'm well rested, I'm happy, and I've got a lot to share. So, okay, so right now, go ahead and skip if you don't want to hear the testimony. For those who want to hear the testimony, here's what happened. Okay, so, um, all my life, growing up, I come from a very conservative Christian family, right? Conservative really on both sides. I mean, my my grandmother's family, my dad on my dad's side, they're very religious, church every Sunday, Episcopalian, and my grandmother on um, my mother's side, Catholic. Okay, well, Baptist converted to Catholic, right? So, I've got conservative genes coming out the wazoo, right? But one thing we've always said is that the Lord can make a way out of no way. And I've been hearing that in my entire life. I'm not sure I truly grasped what that means in the context of my life until now. And that's the truth. I have to tell you guys, every time I got on here, I was talking about my crazy job, right? My job was insane, crazy, absolutely insane. I think in small ways, it was kind of killing me, it was killing my creativity and all of this stuff. And it was just because it was so intense. I was working a lot of hours. I mean, a lot of hours. I mean, we're talking as high as 15 or 16-hour days sometimes, right? And then I'm working with people who are very I want to say crazy, but they're not. I can't say crazy, right? I mean, yes, they're crazy, but but they're also just very aggressive, right? They're alpha people, right? Alpha males and females, right? That was my whole thing. And not that I can't be alpha, I can also be alpha too. But when you're in a room, in one confined space, and there's nothing but alphas, there's gonna be jawing, and there's gonna be things are gonna get out of control sometimes. And so I just didn't have time. I didn't have time to exercise. It was rush. I was rushing in out of my life, through my life. I'd get up and I would do a job, and I would rush downstairs, and I would rush into my office, and then I'd rush through lunch. Sometimes I didn't even have time for lunch. I would just eat through lunch. I totally blindly eating. There's no mindfulness going on here at all, right? I was not able to find balance. I was trying to work the 16 hours, trying to write my books, which is my passion, right? I was trying to record this show. I was trying to record another show. Now I've got 2 dogs. That's a long story. They're adorable. I love them to death. But oh my God, I have 2 dogs. I have 2 dogs, and I have an aging dad who lives with me, right? And my dad is stubborn. He is so stubborn. I never realized how stubborn my dad is. So anyway, I had all this stuff going on. And then my son still lives with me. And I am trying all the things to get him. So he's great. I have a beautiful, beautiful child, but he's not independent. He's not independent. And I'm not sure that he's really working as hard as he could be to be independent. So he has a job. He's got a job with Amazon. He goes to school. But most people will hear about that, and he doesn't give me any trouble. He does all the things I want him to do. But man, my baby has a temper. Oh my goodness. And if you ask him to do things at the wrong time, he could just, and see, you guys don't know this about me, but I'll match his energy, right? I really had to take a step back and stop doing that. But my instinct, if I go by instinct, my instinct is to match and exceed his energy. So if he comes to me with negative energy, I want to double the negative energy, right? And then that just puts us we circle the drain when that happens. One of us has to be the adult. Unfortunately, too often that has to be me. But then that's very stressful, having to be the adult all the time. Now I got to be the adult for him. I got to be the adult for the dogs. I got to be the adult for my dad. I mean, it's just a lot. So anyway, I was like, how can I balance all of this stuff when I work this crazy hours? And I just didn't have a lot of time left after all the things, right? And I went through this, and I told you guys about my decluttering journey, right? My decluttering and organized journey. And I thought that was going to give me all the time I needed back. Because now I don't have to spend 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 hours, cleaning the house from top to bottom, because it's so organized now, and I have like all the tools, like I have the RoboVax and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't even have to spend that time, like invest that time into like cleaning my house. Like I can do the top stuff. The floors are taken care of because I got the RoboVax on 2 floors, 2 out of the 3 floors in here. It's beautiful. No, the reorganizing and stuff wasn't enough to give me my time back, because it was like when I got more time, then all those other things that I gave less time to started to take over and require more time. And I'm like, no, something has to give. I need some time somewhere. And so I needed a new job. And so, listen, I needed a new job, but I didn't want to leave my company. I really didn't want to leave my company. But where I am now, there's really just not a whole lot for me to do. I needed my salary, my current salary at least. I needed the bonuses every year. And so I'm high ranking enough that I'm not easy to move because of how much I make. And I'm not low ranking enough that I'm super easy to move, right? So I was open. I opened it up, and I get up every morning. I read my devotionals. Like my relationship with God, with Jesus, is as close as it's ever been, right? I mean, I am in the Word every day, and all of this kind of stuff. So, when I had battles to fight, I'd pray my way through those battles. I'd be like, I'm not the one that's got to fight those battles. Hey, I put it in the Master's hand. The Master's got to fight those battles, right? That kind of thing. So I'm getting there. Like, I'm really understanding things. But, like I said, it was very hard to move me. There was no job that existed. There's no job that exists at my company where I could easily move. It just doesn't exist, actually. I would either have to become like a vice president, where it doesn't exist because these people die out of their jobs. Nobody just leaves. People die out, right? And the people who just got into those positions just got them. So I'm telling you, no, the people completely die out of their jobs. So there was just like nowhere for me to move. So here's the funny thing. But I prayed on it. I was like, Lord, you see what's going on. I'm trying to get some more balance in my life. I just need help. I don't know what to do. There's nothing in my job that exists. But hey, if you want to give me something outside of my company, that's not where I prefer to go. But if you want to give me something outside my company, you've done it before. You've done it again. But I felt like when I left my old company, I felt like the Lord was calling me back to where I am. So I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. But it was confusing me because I was like, I need to get out of this role and there's nowhere to go. So if you don't want me here, it seems like you'd make something happen. Well, In fact, that's exactly what happened. Um, so my boss tells me one day that she got a new job opportunity that opened up for her, and she might be leaving. And I was like, you know what? I'm thankful for you because she is a great boss. You know, she's not a perfect boss, but she's a great boss, right? And she's one that uh, that that you know that she's always got your back, no matter what. Like, as long as you do the things that you're supposed to do, she's got your back. Um, and black, white, green, red doesn't matter. She's got your back, right? So for me, she really is a safe place in that company, because I can tell you that is not the case everywhere in that company. Uh, but um, but she's good. She's good, and honestly, I've been thriving underneath her as far as I was concerned, because for the first time in my career, like, I'd been able to use all of my experience in a role. Anyway, so she tells me this, and like, I'm happy for her, and I am genuinely happy for her, because I'm like, she's got a great opportunity. She's gonna move, but don't think in the back of my mind it was like, yeah, you get to go, but I'm still stuck here with these crazy people and this crazy job. And then, not only that, then she says, well, in a subsequent phone, in a subsequent call we had, she's like, well, they're going to put me somewhere else within the division that I was in, right, in the tech group, working for somebody who'd already displayed to me that they were not for me. They didn't even, yeah, it's a long story, but it was this person they were going to make me work for. One, it was going to put me back in a group that I had already left because it was not a good situation. And then they were going to have me managed by somebody who already displayed to me that they were not a good boss for me. Now, they might be a good boss for somebody in a company. It was not me in any way, shape, or form, right? I had already seen it. They'd already displayed that to me. I was like, okay, I can't go back there because, you know. And then, so, at the end of the day, she said, okay, fine. Well, if you can't go there, and I told her, I was honest with her. I said, I'm going to try, I'm going to try, but if something comes open for me, I'm out of here. I was just being honest. She had asked me to be honest, and I was honest with her. I said, I'm probably not going to be here that long after you leave. And she did not want me to leave the company in any way, shape, or form. So she was like, fine. Then you'll just come with me and we'll figure it out. And so I got a new role in her group. And it was a job that did not exist. It does not fully exist today as I sit in it. Like, the role I have has not been fully defined. But here's what has happened. Same company, same salary, same bonus structure. But I got normal working hours. I literally have to work an 8-hour day and shut it off. So I've gone from 12 to 16-hour days to actually working an 8-hour day. I can't even tell you. My body, I've not fully adjusted. To shifting back from those crazy hours that I was working before. But in my mind, I know that this is a God-given gift for me to work 8 hours so that I can get back in balance and do all the things that I want to do, like I was doing before. The podcast, the writing, all of this stuff. Now I am not working almost 2 days in one day. I get time back. I can exercise. I can take more time to cook and eat right. And now that I've kind of redone my kitchen, I can eat right. I don't know if I showed you guys pictures of that. I'll post them on Twitter if I haven't shown you the redo. But now that my kitchen's done and it's organized, now I want to cook more. And now I can make more healthy food without ordering out all the time. And I can fit exercise into my schedule. And I can fit the podcast and everything into my schedule. So honest to goodness, guys, I'm back to testify. I have to testify to this. That, look, I didn't have any prospect of a job at this place whatsoever. The job simply did not exist. And sometimes God can bless you through other people. So don't be always expecting the blessing to come straight from you. Because if I had been waiting for the position, if I had been waiting for the promotion for me, then I'd still be waiting, right? But I recognize, hey, she got the promotion and she's bringing me along with her. That's okay too. That is perfectly fine, because guess what? I'm going to work hard. I'm going to do what I have to do. I've already got some things in place that we're starting to work based on my recommendations. So I'm going to put every ounce of knowledge and work ethic that I have behind her to make her group successful, because guess what? She got me out of that. And however long I do this is however long I do this. Honest to goodness, I am thrilled. I'm so happy. So, work hard. You build yourself a good reputation. But most of all, just trust God. Just trust that when there is no way, you can't see a way. Just because you can't see a way, it doesn't mean there's not a way. When I could not see a way, and I was just like, I got to go. This is just, I felt like at my professional rock bottom, because I was just exhausted and I was not my best self, and not at all. And I couldn't see a way. And that's it. He made a way when there was no way. So I just, you learn to trust, and then you learn to obey. Those are the messages that are come to me. Trust and then obey. And so trust that the way will be made out of no way. But then if he says rest, rest. If he says move, move, right? All roadblocks are not meant for you to fight through. Sometimes they're meant to block you, right? Sometimes they're meant to block you so that you can stop and wait until God can move, right? And sometimes you just need to sit still and wait. And that's what I did. I sat still, I waited, and God moved. Now, I waited in the most uncomfortable position ever. But I waited. I sat, I waited. I did not, and I get job offers every day, every other day, people sending me notices for jobs that are open that they want me to apply for and stuff. And I'm like, I just kept telling them, nope. And this job opened up, and I'm thrilled. Same company, I don't have to move. New job opportunity for me not only to apply my knowledge, but also for me to learn a whole new part of the business. And that's only going to help me in the future. So that's my testimony for today. I know that was long, and this is going to be a long show, but I had to share that with you guys because, yeah, so much going on. Anyway, so back to the schedule plan. In the last episode, I talked about, the last of the movies, the last of the Christmas movies. So we're talking about the Holiday Junkie, a 90s Christmas, the Christmas Quest, holidays, and then my How to Not Chick Picks, right? Today, I've got loads to talk about. The first thing I want to talk about is my top 15 movies from the 2024 season. So how did they finally rank out for me? I had a lot more perspective. So you might be just a smidge surprised at some of the rankings that I have there. Then on the next show, we are going to get into what's going on for the 2025 season and what's new. And hopefully, we're going to start seeing some Christmas in July news pretty soon. My thinking is that there's probably going to be a couple of new Christmas movies for 2025. But anyway, before I get into my top 15 list for the 2024 season, we have got to do the Saint Nick shout-outs. And as always, I begin the show with shout-outs to listeners, and that's my favorite tradition of this show. And given the fact that I have been offline for so many months, I can't even tell you, people are still listening even though I've been away. Because you know what? I hope everyone trusts that even though there's a break and you might not hear from me for some time, that I'm always coming back at some point. I'm going to be back before Christmas in July for sure. And I'm going to be back before the Christmas season for sure. But I am hopeful now that I have this new position that I can do these shows a little more regularly now, because literally I have time. I have a little craziness to work through, maybe for the next month or so. But I think once we're through this little crazy period, things will start to get better, and I will have a more consistent schedule, and I will be, I'll be more used to it, because I spent probably since 2011 in this crazy role. So 2011, that's 14 years. So I spent 14 years doing this craziness, literally these crazy hours, working these crazy shifts, working over the weekends, working insane hours, just ridiculous hours. So I've been on that for 14 years. So it's going to take my body and my mind a little time to recalibrate. So please give me some grace as I recalibrate. Okay. But anyway, I am so thankful for everybody who listens in, for the show, who either makes time for the show to put in their busy schedules, or makes time outside of their busy schedules, right, to listen to an episode or two. So today, because I've got so many movies to talk about in this top 15 list, I'm going to give you the short version of the St. Nick shout-outs. So I'm going to give love to 5 listener locations this week. People who have been checking in on the show over the past few weeks. While I've been, focused on so many other things, getting this new position and praying my way out of the old one, and just so much going on. Okay. Anyway, remember, I don't know who you are, but I know where you live. The first one is Wake Forest, North Carolina. Wake Forest, North Carolina. Thank you so much for joining Wake Forest. So glad to have you here. Number 2 is Ashburn, Virginia, home of the Washington Commanders. Love it. Thank you for joining the show. The next one, number 3, is Nepean, Ottawa, or Nepean, Ottawa. N as in Nancy, Pean, Nepean, maybe, Ottawa. Thank you for joining in. Number 4, everybody knows this, Motown, Detroit, Michigan. Thank you for joining and listening, Detroit, Michigan. And number 5, my home city, Washington, D.C. It was so funny. Somebody asked me the other day, like, are you from here or do you live here? And I'm like, both. That is, that's rare. It's rare to find someone in DC who's actually from DC. Not rare, but it's probably rarer than it should be. Most of the time, people have moved from other places into the city, and so you don't meet people that are from DC that have lived there their entire lives and then that also work there. So anyway, I was like, both. That was funny. Anyway, ho 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 holiday headlines. I'm actually going to skip that for today, and I'm going to do a ho 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 holiday headlines big review for the next show. So stay tuned for that. Okay, but I do have some headlines. I have a lot of headlines, but I have so many shows to talk about today. I'm going to skip that. All right, so then I am going to get straight into the top 15 movies of 2025, right? I'm going from the highest to the lowest rating, and I do have a few honorable mentions, okay? The first honorable mention is Holidays, the series. So this was on Hallmark Plus, and it just had a huge star-studded cast. Dennis Haysbert from the Allstate commercials, Lucy Guest from the Mistletoe Inn, and she not only acts, but she directs. So, not in this show. She didn't direct this show. She's directed like, I think at least one other Christmas movie this year. So, that's fun. Loretta Devine from, we all know Loretta from so many movies. She's done some, her career is crazy. But one of my most favorite roles from her is from Waiting to Exhale. Ian Harding was in this. Ghost of Christmas Always. You remember him? So he came on the scene and put him in. He's picked up so many movies. He's a great actor. I love his acting. So anyway, many more. What I would say is this: if this were a movie, it easily would have been my number one. That's how much I loved it. I loved this series so much. If it had been a movie, it would absolutely be number one on my list. I loved it that much. As a matter of fact, during Christmas in July, I'm probably, if there's something on that I don't want to see, I will probably go back and watch this. It was that good. I could watch it now for real. I've been watching a few Christmas movies and then a few fall movies that are on my DVR. So it could happen. Anyway, so I love that movie. It would easily be my number one. But since it was a series of 1 hour shows, then it's gonna be in my honorable mentions. Another one on my honorable mentions is The Christmas Quest with Christopher Polaha and Lacey Chabert. Now, you guys know I love both of them, especially Christopher, but both of them. And I really loved this movie, and I thought it was going to hit my top 15 list all the way until the end. The ending lost it for me. It totally lost it for me. I was like, what is going on here? It was not an acting problem. It was definitely, for me, it was a writing problem. It was I don't want to call it lazy, because it's not lazy, but it was too simplistic of an ending for that quest, right? The ending just totally put me off. I'll just leave it at that. So anyway, was done with that. Another honorable mention. So Christmas Quest, obviously on my honorable mention list, because I loved everything except the ending, and I couldn't put it on the list if I didn't like the ending that much. Another one on my honorable mentions list is Red One. That was on Prime. Now, it got slaughtered by the reviewers. I don't know what they were looking at, because I loved that movie. It was good. It was a Christmas action movie on Amazon Prime. It starred The Rock. Who else was that? There's a bunch of people in that movie, but I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was great. My son loved it. He and I watched it together. And we enjoyed it from beginning to end. We sure did. There was nothing, there were no slow moments. There was always action going on. It was meant to be a fantasy movie. It was not meant to be a realistic action movie, right? Because if you're saving Santa and Santa's all buff, then it's probably a fantasy, right? So you kind of go into it with that lens. It's like watching Wicked, right? You go into it with the fantasy lens on. It's not real. So I don't know why I got slaughtered so bad. I really just don't. They just hammered the movie, and I loved it. The reason it's on my honorable mentions list is because it was an action movie. There wasn't really a romantic thread through there. Not one strong enough that I would put it in a rom-com category. So it was very much a Christmas action movie, and it was definitely worthy of a watch. And Amazon Prime is going to do it again this year. Oh my goodness, they've got something really good coming up. So, like I said, trust me, the next upload, you guys got to listen to that one because so many good movies are coming up. And then the last one on my honorable mentions list is Our Little Secret with Lindsay Lohan and Ian Harding. There were parts of this movie that were just fantastic, and there were other parts of the movie that were just bad. And when you balanced it all out, it was not one that I could really, in good faith put on my top 15 list, but it was definitely an honorable mention. It's one that I think everybody should watch at least once, but it didn't make my top 15 list. So anyway, now we're going to get to the top 15 list. I am so excited. So, number 15 is SugarPlummed with, the cast was Maggie Lawson and Janelle Parrish. Emily Lawson has always dreamed of creating the perfect Christmas. Meticulous planning every detail year after year, only to feel like she's falling short. Hoping to bring her family closer together, she makes for a wish for a holiday picture perfect as the one she's seen in the made-for-TV movies, the SugarPlummed movies, right? To her shock, SugarPlummed Parrish, the film's relentless, optimistic character, magically steps off the screen to make Emily's wish come true, whether she's ready for it or not. As SugarPlummed applies her movie world rules to real life, you know how that went not very well because real life does not cooperate. Emily gets caught up in the possibility of finally achieving the flawless family Christmas. But when SugarPlumb's magical fixes start to backfire one by one, Emily begins to question what an ideal holiday really is. I don't know why people always think they want to have the perfect Christmas. My gosh, I have never experienced, what is a perfect Christmas? I have never experienced a perfect Christmas ever in my entire life. And I've had wonderful Christmases. When my Christmas crazy mother was alive, we had Christmases out the wazoo that were just wonderful, where I had gifts piled high, and yet they still were not perfect because there was always some issue, right? There's always some problems, always some family drama going on, always something. So I don't even know why people strive for perfection. Just strive for enjoying it with your family, just loving what happens with your family. But trust me, because they go too fast. Time gets away from you too fast. People die. And you will never have Christmases with them again. So enjoy every minute that you have. Okay, don't go for perfection. Just go for enjoying the people in your face. All right. Anyway, with time running out, Emily and SugarPlummed find themselves on a heartwarming adventure, one that might just amount to an entirely different kind of Christmas time perfection. Absolutely 100%. That's one reason why I really love this, because the lesson is, enjoy your family, make your family happy, be so in touch with your family that you know what makes them happy. That's what makes Christmas perfect. It is not this, all the right decorations are hung up, the trees, decorated the right way, everything. No, the presents are perfectly wrapped. No, it's nothing. That's not perfect Christmas. the right meal is sitting on the table, that everybody's sitting, at the table prim and proper. Like, no, it's not. That's not the perfect Christmas. That's what I have learned in my years. So kind of sharing my lessons learned, right? All right. Number 14 on my list is Holiday Crashers with Lindsay Fonseca and Chris McNally. Best friends Tony Fonseca and Brie Monet have worked at the same card shop for more than they should, as they both struggle to find their true life path. Lord knows I understand that. This holiday season, Tony and Bree decide to shake up their humdrum world by creating new identities to crash the amazing Christmas parties from the shop's confidential invitations. All harmless fun, right? That is, until Tony gets mistaken for a lawyer, Fonseca, which isn't too far off the mark since she did actually finish law school. She just never completed her bar exam. Tony and Bree are then whisked away to a fancy corporate Christmas retreat in the snowy Vermont mountains by a handsome business mogul, Justin, Chris McNally, who was, let me just tell you, he was entirely yummy in this movie, okay? Just saying. And whose crush on Tony is real, even if her legal career isn't. So he's got a crush on Lindsay Fonseca. And Bree is going along for the ride as she has eyes for Benny Ball, a valet who may have a secret of his own. Can a distraction help Bree find what path in life she's supposed to follow? Will Tony end up with the guy of her dreams or in a blizzard of trouble? This fun Christmas crashing romp will either end in disaster or two happily ever afters. So, Christmas Crashers. I loved this movie. I love everything that Lindsay Fonseca is in, and I love Chris McNally, So people might wonder how come this one landed so far back in my list. Why is it at 14 and not like closer to 1, right? Because I really did like the movie. I think it was the fact that how he found out about the fact that Lindsay's character was not a lawyer, like that whole scene and how that all played out. I don't know, something about it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and it probably shouldn't have. Like I'm expecting that to happen, but it rubbed me the wrong way, and so 14 on my list, and that's the beauty of this list, right? It doesn't have to comply with what anybody else thinks. It's what I think. But anyway, I did love it though. I did love it, but I didn't love it as much as I love some of these other ones. All right. Number 13, Scouting for Christmas with Tamara Mowry Housley, Carlo Marx, all right, so Angela, Tamara Housley, has been a busy realtor since her amicable divorce a couple of years ago to Dakota James Palladino, a paleontologist whose adventures kept him anywhere but home. Now she's a devoted, if often harried, single mom. Ooh, let me tell you, I can relate to that. This is one reason why I love this movie, because I can relate to having that schedule where, like, you're just trying to find time to maintain your sanity, right? She had that kind of schedule. She was busy, but she was trying to always do the right thing. Again, I can relate. Now she is a devoted, if often harried, single mom to a smart and loving 10-year-old girl, Brooklyn. Angela's busy schedule makes it hard for her to find much time for anything or anyone, much to the disapproval of the mothers. But when Brooklyn gets the idea to have William, the owner of her favorite bakery, cater her scout troops posh annual holiday event, she asks Angela to work with him on pitching the idea to the moms in charge. Despite sensing that her daughter might be trying to play Cupid, she agrees to help and finds herself enjoying time with him, Carlo, but is reluctant to open her heart and life to someone new. When Dad returns, missing her, Angela must decide what is best for her and what's best for her daughter and what's best for her heart. Let me tell you, when he came back into the scene, I growled. I literally growled at the screen. Scotty for Christmas, though, I really love this. Now I have to tell you guys the surprise about this, because I went into this movie expecting not to like it at all. And that is because the pairing of Tamara and Carlo, I did not see that going well. Carlo had been in a couple of movies where I thought it was great pairing, and then there was movies where I thought, nope, didn't work. So I'm always iffy when it comes to the pairing with Carlo. But this one worked beautifully. I have to tell you, I loved it. I loved them together in this movie. Surprisingly, let me tell you, there's nobody more surprised than me. I think I actually watched this movie more than once during the Christmas season, if I remember correctly. It did make my DVR. All right, my number 12 movie is The Christmas Charade. Number 12 is The Christmas Charade with Rachel Skarsten and Corey Sevier. Whitney Skarsten, a cautious librarian raised by a home security expert, finds herself in a real-life adventure when a blind date mix-up leads her into an undercover FBI operation. Forced to pose as the girlfriend of Special Agent Josh Sevier, she helps him track down an art thief targeting the St. Nicholas Ruby at a Christmas Eve charity ball. As the stakes rise, Whitney must embrace her inner action hero to save the day and her family just in time for Christmas. The Christmas Charade, man, I really love this movie, and I actually did watch this all the way through a couple of times. Like I told you, you don't really get time for that, so when you do, you really take note that, really must like that one. I'll tell you what, I really loved that kind of action rom-com element of this movie. And then, there were a few kind of touching moments and stuff like this. But I felt like some of the key motivation for Skarsten to be like how she was, given who her parents are, I don't want to, me, I don't do spoilers. Her parents are special people. I'll just say that. And they have one kind of background, and they made her completely different. They raised her to be a completely different kind of person. And I feel like they kind of glossed over the reason why that happened. Why they went completely left with her when they were right. You know what I mean? And meaning why they took such a different hand with her in raising her. That to me was glossed over, and I think that's probably why it landed back at number 12. All right, so let me tell you, so up till now, right, we've had a lot of Hallmark movies, which normally Hallmark movies pretty much fill up my list. But for number 11, we've got a Lifetime movie, The Holiday Junkie, with Jennifer Love Hewitt, Brian Halazay. Okay, The Holiday Junkie follows the decorating and planning service company run by Andy, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and her mother Mimi. After Mimi passes away, Andy is forced to face her first Christmas without her mother and carry the Holiday Junkie torch on her own. Despite challenges, Andy may find some love at Christmas along the way with the handsome house manager, Mason, Brian Halazay, who has his own holiday secrets. Lots of holiday secrets here, right? The Holiday Junkie, another movie I really loved. But I have to say, this was tough to watch because the main character was basically the story around this main character kind of came after, like, the year after her mother had passed, and so there was always this kind of sadness. You guys know how I feel about sad movies, right? So there was enough in it, I felt, to kind of make it a little more upbeat, but there was still a lot to make it sad. Right? And I struggle with sad stuff. I really do. I think I forever will. So probably through no fault of its own, because there was that sadness, and I do remember that, having that sadness, that it probably hit 11, right? So 11 is The Holiday Junkie with Jennifer Love Hewitt. Number 10, Holiday Mismatch with Caroline Rhea and Beth Broderick. My favorite from the Teenage Witch, Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Do you guys remember that show? That is a very Gen X show. But anyway, these two were co-stars from that show. When free-spirited Kath, Rhea, and uptight Barbara Broderick clash at a Christmas committee meeting, they're shocked to discover they've accidentally set up their children via a dating app. Determined to stop the romance, these two mothers team up, only to realize they have more in common than they thought. As their kids' love blossoms, so does an unexpected friendship between their meddling moms, bringing both families together for a festive Christmas. Not without a bunch of twists and turns in the road. And the twists and turns are really what made this show enjoyable. And the fact that it was kind of a enemies to friends kind of movie, right? Where the mothers were enemies. They started out as enemies, but then, became friends over time. But there were a lot of good twists in this movie. And I love the Easter eggs. So there's a bunch of Easter eggs from Sabrina the Teenage Witch show that they kind of planted throughout the movie, all the way up until the ending. So if you're Gen X, you're going to want to watch this for the Easter eggs and see and locate the Easter eggs throughout the show, throughout the movie. So that's one reason I really loved it. Honestly, it just took me back. I love seeing those two characters playing a movie together. And then it was a good Christmas story on top of it. So I enjoyed that. And it was nice to see them as enemies, right? Their characters did not like one another. So that part was fun. So this was a fun movie. Definitely recommended. Holiday Mismatch. That's my number 10 movie. My number 9 movie is Santa Tell Me with Aaron Krakow, Daniel Lissing, Benjamin Ayers, Christopher Russell, and Kurt Sarza. When Olivia Krakow, a successful interior designer, finds an old letter from Santa promising she'll meet the love of her life by Christmas Eve and that his name will be Nick, she's stunned to meet not one, but 3 guys named Nick. As she navigates these holiday romances, Olivia also finds herself drawn to her charming co-worker, Chris. Listen, throwing her magical Christmas quest into question. With the clock ticking toward Christmas Eve, Olivia embarks on a heartwarming and humorous journey to uncover her true soulmate. So, first of all, with Aaron and Daniel in the movie, we know that harkens back to when the early years of When Calls the Heart, right? So that's one reason that for a lot of Hardies, right, the Hallmarkies, we were drawn to this movie for that, to see them together again, and it was beautiful. But I really actually loved the movie of this. It was kind of a mystery kind of element to it. Like who is the Nick? Who is the Nick? And then there were all these Nicks in her life, and you're like, which one is going to be the one? And you know which one it should be, but But they really kind of, I think, they set it up nicely to where uh, the reveal at the end really had an impact. So I really like that movie. I don't want to, I don't do spoilers. I don't give it away. But there it is. Number 9, Santa Tell Me, definitely worth the watch. Number 8, A Very Merry Beauty Salon. Back to Lifetime with Tia Mowry, Donna Briscoe, Ron Lee, Coco Brown, Ashley Aguiar as in a very merry beauty salon. Tia, the owner of the bustling Divine Beauty Salon, is preparing for Atlanta's Tinsel Ball, where she will be honored for her charitable work in the community. The annual event takes a glamorous turn with the arrival of Lawrence, a charismatic CEO whose family's wine brand is now co-sponsoring the ball. Sparks fly between them, but Sienna's mother, Georgia, Donna Briscoe, who is the head of the balls committee, worries his involvement may ruin the event's traditions. As Sienna and Lawrence are unexpectedly paired as dance partners, romance blooms, setting up the stage for a steamy romance that challenges Sienna's thoughts on love, family, and makes this year's Tinsel Ball the most memorable yet. All right, so listen, guys. I was watching The First Wives Club over the weekend, and the husband on The First Wives Club, I was like, I recognize him. I said, I think he was somebody's boyfriend on one of these sitcom shows. So I went to look up Ron Lee. So it's Ron Rico Lee, I think that's what it is. And so when I looked it up, he was actually one of the twins' boyfriends on Sister Sister. So this was A Very Merry Beauty Salon, was a Sister reunion of sorts, because you had Tia and this Ron guy, who I think was one of the boyfriends at one time. Anyway, so it's really fun to see them back together again. I kind of knew it, but I didn't really place it until I actually watched First Wives Club on Netflix and was able to kind of put all those pieces together. That's crazy. Anyway, right now we are going to take a short break, but I'll be right back with the rest of my top 15 list, starting with number 7 in my top 15 list. All right, so I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Now available on paperback and an ebook, the hilarious romantic comedy The 12 Days of Christmas by USA Today best-selling author K.L. Brady. Both recovering from heartbreak, Gabby and Dave fall for each other after Dave sends a misdirected text message to the wrong woman. But it's a comedy of errors when they try to meet face to face. Murphy's Law strikes and they may never see or speak to each other again. However, Gabby thinks Dave may be the one, so she accepts the mission to unite them before Christmas Day. Now she's got 8 days and 12 Daves to find the man of her dreams. But Dave is hiding something. 3 big things. Even if Gabby finds him, will his secrets keep them apart? Rediscover all the joy and wonder of the Christmas season when you pick up this heartwarming story today. To find out more about the 12 Days of Christmas, visit klbradyauthor.com or pick up your copy at Amazon, Apple, Kobo, or Barnes & Noble today. And now it's time for Chicks on Christmas Flicks.
And welcome back to Chicks on Christmas Flicks. All right, so in the previous segment, I started out my top 15 list. We got down to number 8. So as a quick recap, the list so far had SugarPlummed at 15, Holiday Crashers at 14, Scouting for Christmas at 13, The Christmas Charade at 12, 11, The Holiday Junkie, 10, Holiday Mismatch, 9, Santa Tell Me, and 8, A Very Merry Beauty Salon. So now we are going to get to the top 7. And this list actually might surprise you. It surprised me a little bit. I honestly, here, before I get into the list, I have to tell you, like, I did not think I was going to be able to put to 15 movies together. I did not think I liked that many of the movies that much. I thought this was going to be a top 10 list. And when I started making the list, I was like, wow, I really liked a lot more movies than I thought. I probably could have made a top 25 list, but I had to kind of, winnow this down to 15. So I liked a lot more movies than I actually thought I liked. And when I started actually going back over them, I was like, wait a minute, I really like that. I really like that. So that's how we kind of came to the top 7. All right. So number 7 on the list is Christmas in the Spotlight with Jessica Lord, Leah Walschlager, Jenny May, and Haley Khalil. Now, this was one of those movies that was supposed to be kind of loosely based on the romance between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, right? All right. So, Christmas in the Spotlight follows Bowen, Jessica Lord, a popular musician and celebrity who, despite always singing about love and relationships, hasn't found Mr. Right yet. Her fame and busy recording schedule make it nearly impossible to date until she meets Drew, Leah Walschlager, a pro football player. Between the two of them. Backstage, let me back up. Her fame and busy recording schedule make it nearly impossible to date, but when she meets Drew, Leah Walschlager, a pro football player, backstage at her show with his niece, there's an undeniable spark between the two of them. When Drew publicly declares she has a crush on Bowen, they decide to give dating a shot, much to the excitement of her manager, Mira, Jenny May. With each passing day they spend together, their feelings grow stronger. But can it last in the limelight? Especially when they both have such hectic schedules. With people questioning if their feelings for each other are real or just for show, the pressure mounts. From the press, paparazzi, their fans, even their family, including Drew's sister-in-law, Nicole, Haley Khalil. The pair has until the end of the holiday season to decide if they want to stay together or let it go down in flames. I did not think I was going to like this movie. When I tell you, I went into this thinking this is going to blow big time. I was like, there's no way any of these movies are going to, about Travis and Taylor, are going to be good. And by golly, I absolutely loved this one. I loved how they structured the story. I love how they structured the romance. I loved the characters that play. I really loved this movie. I was pleasantly surprised at how much I liked it. It was really, really good. I have to, if you haven't watched it, I think you can catch it on demand or on Lifetime's streaming app. I think it's on there. This is definitely one to watch. And if you don't want to, catch it before then and you haven't seen it, make sure that you watch it next season. I will make sure to highlight when it comes on next season so that you can watch this movie because it really is good. It's going to surprise you how good it is because I went and thinking this is going to blow. These movies just never work out the way that they're supposed to. And this one was good. This one was really good. All right. So highly recommend that one. Number 6 on my list is Bebe Winans' We Three Kings. With Bebe Winans, Deborah Joy Winans. I think she's his niece, the Winans niece. They got a load of brothers and sisters in that family. I believe she's one of the nieces. Lisa Berry, Faith Wright, and Bethany Brown. In Bebe Winans, We Three Kings, Bebe plays Lincoln, a retired musician turned record store owner and proud father to the three King sisters, Lydia, Gracie, and Abigail. For the first time since their mother's death, I struggle with these always, they're always sad, the three estranged King sisters return home for the holidays. Lincoln hatches a plan with a family friend, Janelle, to bring his girls back together again this Christmas. Living under the same roof and hearing their father sing joyful Christmas melodies sparks old family memories. Holiday love songs and mistletoe are found around every corner, and the sisters end up finding love in the very town they try so hard to leave behind. It isn't long before the sisters face facts. Life's better when they are together. And let me tell you, this was really actually again, I didn't go into this movie with a positive attitude, I thought. But I knew with Bebe Winans and at the very least I was gonna love the singing. so I really went into this movie with the singing and then ended up loving the movie. And the writing was surprisingly good. It was, so apart from the singing and hearing Bebe sing, because I am a Winans fan, like from way back, like when the Winans group was out, before the Winans group disbanded. I'm just the hugest Winans group. That's probably like the gospel music of my youth. I just loved it. So if you haven't listened to the Winans family, Bebe and Cece were in a group together. Then Cece's solo artist. Bebe hasn't done. I don't know. He hasn't done anything since he worked with his sister. And then there was, of course, the Winans gospel group. But if you listen to any of them in anything, you're gonna love it. I don't know how you couldn't love it. So anyway, so obviously when I saw this, seeing Bebe was in it won me over, but it actually is a really good movie to watch, and it is not too sad. Now it's sad, it's got its sad moments, which is why it's probably not closer to one, but it was a good movie. I really love seeing how the sisters came together. I really love seeing how the romances kind of started playing out. Like, it was good. It was definitely a good movie. All right. Now we're getting into my top 5, guys. Oh my goodness. And boy, you might be surprised by a couple of these. By a couple of this list. So my number 5 movie is Christmas on Call with Sarah Canning, Shardarius Blaine, oh God, Uncle Burning Love, plus cameo appearance by Donna Kelsey. So I was just talking about Travis Kelsey on Christmas in the Spotlight. Now we've got Donna the Mama. She played in a couple of Christmas movies this year on Hallmark. All right. So, in the lead up to Christmas, emergency room doctor Hannah Michaels juggles her demanding job and a budding romance with EMT Wes Sullivan, that's Sir Darius, in Philadelphia. So, they were in Philly. I love Philly. That's a cool city. I have stories, but I won't share them. They spend time together as Wes helps her become more acquainted with the sights, sounds, and tastes of Philadelphia. It's clear that they're starting to fall for one another. As the local first responders balance duty with holiday celebrations, they come together to face challenges, support each other, and find moments of joy. Let me tell you, I was not real super keen on this movie, even though I love Sarah Canning and I love Shardarius Blaine, right? So I love them both independently, but I wasn't sure about this pairing and how that was going to work. But man, they had chemistry out the wazoo. It was good. I love this movie. And I think it was the chemistry that really kind of pushed this one up to the top of my list, because I didn't think there was going to be this chemistry between them, and it's there. It's there, and it's all over the screen. It was beautiful. I loved it. I love the story. I love the challenges that they faced. I love how they kind of overcame the challenges. I just it was a good movie. It was a really, 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 really good movie, and that's one I put on my DVR too. So if that tells you anything, I put it on my DVR. I love that movie. It was good. All right, number 4 on my list is Sincerely, Truly Christmas with Paula Brancotti, Howard Hoover, and Jake Epstein. We know I love Jake Epstein. He's like one of my favorite actors in Christmas movies for sure. And like he's been all over the place. He's been on Hallmark. He's been on Lifetime. I think he's been on Up TV if I remember correctly. I don't know, but he's been like everywhere. When event planner Christina Paula Brancotti is fired just before Christmas, she makes a wish that magically comes true. Armed with the ability to hear what people want for Christmas, Christina learns that bringing reclusive one-hit wonder Dan Copen, Howard Hoover, out of retirement could help get her job back. But to get Dan, she'll need to go through handsome realtor Robert, Jake Epstein, who needs help finding the perfect gift for his son. I love this movie. Now, if you guys have ever watched What Women Want, I think Mel Gibson played in it. And I can't remember the actress's name at this time, but I think it was Mel Gibson that played in it. Let me tell you, that movie was so like I can't even tell. I think I own it actually. I think I own the DVD, and I have watched it. I can't even tell, countless times. As a matter of fact, I just watched it recently. It was so good. So anyway, this kind of plays off of that movie, where in that movie, in What Women Want, like he was able to hear the thoughts of women. For this misogynistic jerk to kind of hear the thoughts of women, and to watch how his character evolved over the course of the movie, it was just a little bit of genius. And so Sincerely Truly Christmas kind of plays into that, where she can hear what people want for Christmas. And so I really liked this movie. I really liked the kind of evolution of her character from beginning to end. It's not the same evolution of What Women Want, but it was a good one. And so this is definitely one of those movies I watched probably 3 or 4 times. It was so good. I watched it more than once. So, with all that said, Sincerely Truly Christmas is definitely one to watch, one to add to your, if you haven't seen it because you're focused so much on the Hallmark, trust me, this is one time you want to veer away to Lifetime to watch that movie. It was so good. All right. Number 3 is Leah's Perfect Gift. Emily Arlook, Evan Roderick, and Barbara Niven. Leah Meyer is a bona fide lover of Christmas. Let me tell you, she was Christmas crazy, even though she's Jewish. She was Christmas crazy, though. And it was sincere. It felt sincere, which is why I love this movie so much. The ornaments, the trees, the eggnog, but she always has admired the holiday from afar because she's Jewish. Though her family celebrates Hanukkah, Leah has longed to experience a traditional Christmas. When her boyfriend Graham invites her to spend the holidays with his classic Connecticut family, she eagerly accepts. So she's going in there. She's wanting to have this up. I mean, they really set this up really well. She's going in there all happy-go-lucky. She's expecting to experience this perfect Christmas, and then excited to dive into the quintessential Christmas she's always dreamed of. Leah quickly discovers that fitting in with the Graham's uptight family and not so welcoming mom, Barbara Niven, is easier said than done. And let me just tell you, fitting in with the family wasn't the problem. It was the uptight, not so welcoming mom that was the biggest problem out of all of them. And moms, sorry, I'm a mom, so I can say this. We can be jerks when it comes to girls that we're not sure about. For our sons, we can just be. And she was a jerk to the 10th power. As holiday traditions clash and awkward moments pile up, and let me tell you, there were so many awkward moments, and it was beautiful. It was so well done. It's not quite the cozy Christmas that Leah, expected. It is not the Christmas that she expected, but in the best way, in the worst ways, but also in the best ways. So I highly recommend, if you've got Hallmark Plus and haven't watched Leah's Perfect Gift yet, go watch that movie. It was so good. That was one of my favorites like a clear favorite from last season. Another one of my favorites is The Santa Claus with Kimberly Susted, because I pretty much love her in just about everything. This is probably one of the most biased selections in this list, but it was actually good, I thought. So Kimberly Susted, Benjamin Ayres. To me, Benjamin played this role in an unexpected way. It's it's truly him getting to kind of show off his acting chops in a way that he hasn't really had to do in other movies. And that's one reason why I really liked him and his character in this movie. Kate North Susted finds herself reluctantly taking over her father's once acclaimed and now struggling Santa school. In the weeks leading up to Christmas and the Santa school's next session, Kate and her new co-worker, Benjamin Ayres, discover who they believe to be the real Santa Claus, lost and without his memories after his sled steered off course and crashed near the school. So you see this very early on. I mean, it's the real dude. And they end up taking him back to the Santa school. So they decide to help him remember who he is by inviting him to participate in the intense Santa training program. There's a lot at stake this year. Kate's school needs to best the rival St. Nicholas school or be forced to close their doors. And Nick, Santa Claus, needs to remember who he is, or the fate of Christmas might be at stake. So there may not be a Christmas if Santa doesn't remember Christmas and his role in Christmas, right? So stakes are pretty high in this one. Now the stakes with we're gonna have to close our doors. I mean, how many times have we seen that in Christmas movies? So for me, that was kind of standard. But what wasn't standard was that here you have the fate of Christmas because Santa has amnesia, right? There's a problem with Christmas because Santa's got amnesia, and if he doesn't remember that he's Santa, then we've got problems, big problems. So anyway, I really, really liked this movie. I really liked how the romance between Kimberly and Benjamin kind of evolved, right? And how they started out kind of as enemies. I would say you could say they were enemies, and that and so that their relationship evolved from this kind of antagonistic relationship. And I have to say, I like those movies. I think I like those movies best when they make good enemies, right? When they are believable enemies. To me, that's one of the best scenarios that works in Christmas movies, when they are believable enemies, when they have really it's well justified feelings of being enemies. And in this one, it was well justified. He was at a rival school. He was teaching at a rival school and got fired. And he needed a job. And so he came looking for employment at her school. And she knew he was at that other school. And so their rivalry, the contentiousness in their relationship was well justified. And that made the story, even that much more believable, I would say. So I definitely loved the Santa Claus. Again, I'm highly biased. Number two, I love Kimberly Susted in pretty much everything she does. But this one was actually really good. I think the stakes were high enough on all sides of it. It was just a really good movie. I loved it. All right. So, as you can notice, listen, the number two movie was a Hallmark movie. Like, so what's going to be the number one movie? My number one movie for last year, for the 2024 season, is Meet Me Next Christmas with Christina Milian, DeVale Ellis, and Kofi Siriboe. In the pursuit of a fairy tale romance with the man of her dreams, Layla must race through New York City to get her hands on the hottest ticket in town, the sold-out Pentatonix Christmas Eve concert. Guys, I can't even tell you how good and funny this movie was. The reason why it's probably number one above some of the other ones is because this was a pure romantic comedy. Christina Milian has been knocking it out of the park with her rom-coms lately for me, and this one is no exception. I think the premise of this movie was good. The actual movie, the actual plot, how she kind of falls for Kofi, and then how she ends up falling for DeVale. Like, to me, it's just, I don't know, it was perfectly written. And then you kind of add in Pentatonix. I love Pentatonix, right? So when you add them into the movie, and there's these parallel stories kind of going on. Like, to me, I don't know, it was a perfect amount of complexity and comedy. It was perfect. This was my favorite movie of last year. Absolutely my favorite. Absolutely watched it more than one time. There was parts in that movie where I was folded over laughing. It does not happen that often because the scene was just hysterical. There were some funny scenes in this movie, and it was just funny enough to take it over the top for me. So, my number one movie for the 2024 season is Meet Me Next Christmas. And that was on Netflix, which you can watch at any time. It's still on Netflix. All right. So that is going to do it for me today. Please stay tuned. I have so much more coming, and please stay tuned for the next podcast release, right? Because in that one, we're gonna get into season 6. Oh my gosh. And then we're going to start getting into the 2025 movies for the season and the things that I have on my list. And I think I have so much on my list that I'm going to have to break that up into 2 shows too. So you're going to get episode 1 and episode 2 of season 6 coming up very, very soon. So please stay tuned. Anyway, thank you to my music and show editor, Will B. He created all the custom music for this show. He's at Wildcard Music, and you can find his IG page in the show notes below. Until next time, remember, at Chicks on Christmas Flicks, we can never have too many Christmas movies. We can only have not enough Christmas movies. Please don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite platform. And tell your Christmas movie loving friends about this show. Where can you find us? I'm so happy you asked. Podcast platforms: Amazon, Apple, Spotify, Google, iHeartRadio, and many, many more. You can find them in the link in the show notes. You can follow the show on Twitter at Chicks Christmas, spelled all the way out, Flicks. Chicks Christmas Flicks. That is on Twitter and IG. Thank you all for listening in, and please stay tuned. The next episode is coming right up.